That was a shit. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. It's very cosmic and feels like, I don't know, things are happening that we're not completely aware of.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now. Nick of MoonLust, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Let's just start straight away with saying finally. You know, it's been, I know that you weren't necessarily there when the band was founded, but it's been 6 years since that start. Now we have the first official single, aptly called 6 years, whether or not that has anything to do with it. Just maybe my first question, it's not going to take another 6 years before we hear more?
No, definitely not. We're sitting on a couple other things, so as soon as we can get it to everybody, then we will. It's definitely already in the making. So,
all right,
won't be long.
Good. Now, Nick, you joined the band. You're also one of the key contributors. But do I remember correctly that you wrote the single?
Yeah, this is my song. This is one of the first songs I ever wrote, actually. And one of my buddies was like, dude, if you're gonna keep writing shit, you gotta do something with it, or you're never gonna do anything with it. So this was one of the first ones that I felt comfortable, like, showing other people and like doing something with, and it came into a pretty fun song to play. So it's got a lot of good energy, and you say like the 6 years thing, like, it's kind of funny how it winds up. Like, the band's kind of been around for about that long and like figuring their shit out. And also like the last 6 or so years before I wrote that song was just like kind of a growing point for me. So lines up. Everything comes into place when it's supposed to. So
Do you like, are you somebody that like needs that person to give you that push, to give you that extra confidence to share?
I mean, I feel like at that point I wasn't really like, I don't know, I've always just loved music, been content with like listening to it and just playing or whatever, and not really having to do anything with it. And he's like, dude, you got to do some shit. And then our singer Major, she was like, we've got to start up MoonLust again, like, and you have all this shit, so like, let's do it. And just like I don't know, music does what it needs to for me or it did then, without having to like play it live or whatever. And now it's awesome. I love doing it now, but like, I was just kind of content before. But I'm glad that it worked out that way, and really stoked about all the shit we have coming up. We got a handful of songs recorded, and really shooting for some sort of a full length or EP within the next year. So I'm ready to get it out there now that it's hit, and like the spark's going. Like it's now I'm geared up for it.
Gotta love it when you see lots of goddamn memories. For people that go look for it, they'll find more material that the band has played live. But the single is what's been officially released. On the single, and also on, let's start with the single. There are some late 60s, early 70s psychedelica vibes there for sure, but there's a heavy amount of like, let's call it late 70s proto-punk, that energy that you were talking about. I also know from a different interview that you say, like, you're a big Lynyrd Skynyrd fan, and you come across as a very calm guy. So where does that influence? Because I mean, sure, heavily 70s inspired. Lynyrd Skynyrd still around, but let's call them a 70s band. There's a
definitely there. Man.
But apart from that, for sure,
it's not the
same. So where do those influences come from? Where you borrowed some sound from more like that, a proto-punk sound, because that definitely doesn't come from Skynyrd.
I mean, dude, I love I love punk rock too, like, and that's the thing that, like, especially when I was first starting to like play music, was something that was like tangible. It was something that I could get my hands on and like really feel the energy, feel like I was playing some music or whatever. So that like finds its way into it all over the place, and I love high energy, fast rock and roll like that. And I mean, Iggy and the Stooges, like that old shit, like that's heavily in there too. But that, you know, that kind of falls into the psychedelic thing too. But it's just
for sure, yeah.
It's still just raw energy, and I wanted like to keep that with whatever I was doing. I am a pretty laid back guy, but like, you know, whenever I play music, I love to have like a constant thread of energy that doesn't die like from start to finish. So like nobody ever gets bored in the middle of the song. Like it's just like bam, there it is, and it never dies until the end of it. I mean that's where it comes into play really. And I love playing simple music, man. It's more fun. You can raise hell while you're doing it.
The band in the last few years, whenever we did see some live performances, was definitely more in that dreamy space and you know, more heavy and psychedelic. Does that mean that this song is pretty representative of a new era for the band?
It is and it isn't, but I would say it's more. This song we chose for our first single is because like it does hold that energy that we're looking for, and I feel like it's a good spark. Like it's a good thing to give people off the rip because they will, you know, you're gonna want to hear more. But I will say it's not exactly like that. Like the energy's still there, but I'm heavily into psychedelic music as well, so like that comes into play on some of our other songs. Like our next single, y'all will see more of that. You know, it's a blend of everything, but I will say it's got that kind of dreamy, drony aspect, but with a little more structure put on it. Like I guess, like Dead Boys got a hold of a Pink Floyd song or something like that.
Okay,
you know?
okay. You're there, Brian's there, Major's there, like all very different characters. You know, it's kind of like, you know,
for sure.
one is the serious one. You're the relaxed one. Major is the completely crazy one. How do you make that collective work well? Because it's you know that can balance each other out in a really good way, but that can also become a very explosive cocktail where people don't really get along too well.
It can, but like I feel like it all kind of like we all feed off of each other. Like you say, Major's the crazy one. You know, she has all the energy in the world to bring to the table. Jenny Mac is just as crazy as she is, but she, you know, she's like me. She's a little more relaxed, and then me comes into play. Like, you know, I just get along with all of it. And Bryan, he's kind of the one that like oversees everything. He's kind of like the methodical one of everything. He's always thinking. You know, we're all like really good friends too. We always hang out together, and like, you know, anything we're gonna do, we're usually doing it together. So, you know, I don't know. Everyone's got a weird friend group, and you need like can't have all the same person just hanging out. That shit gets boring.
It turns out that all of you kind of like were able, well, not all of you necessarily, but several of you bonded really well and came together in this band, kind of, you know, coping with through personal loss and tragedies, and some of those are maybe a little bit more publicized than others, but it is that then that balance of like, you know, because you don't want to, if something comes from a genuine connection and an emotional connection, at the same time you also don't want to be like, oh yeah, they're just quote unquote a party band. So what's that like for you guys now? Because people are starting to look at you. There's good reaction to this single. The song is going to do well for you. This is a time that your brand is being born, basically.
Yeah, you're right. To that I would say that yes, I wouldn't say we're a party band, like we're not like a pub rock band per se or anything like that. But I would say that we love to have a good time, and I feel like that energy of, you know, constantly just having the best day ever like bleeds into our music. But the reason we all are so intent on having a good time all the time is we've had to deal with a bunch of bullshit. And not to say that not every person on this earth has had to deal with bullshit, but we have like
of course
common things that we've had to go through together that makes us so tight and like a little family. And so just that common understanding between all of us, I feel like that drives us to enjoy our lives more, because we're amongst people that you don't really have to talk about it. You know, you just I mean, you can if you want, but like you don't have to. Yeah. You just understand each other, and I feel like that makes us all like more comfortable to just you know, do whatever we want to do.
Yeah, that approach, that vibe, is that then like a pure outlet for those emotions and frustration? Is there part of that? Is that a defense mechanism in a way as well? A bit of both?
I don't know. I'd say it's a defense mechanism, maybe coping, but like definitely the music is like, we all play music because we have to, like for ourselves, and because like that, for me personally, and I think I can speak for the rest of them, like it's definitely something that we all feel like we have to do while we're here. So you know, and might as well make it fun while you're doing it.
For the, I think everybody in the band, maybe some more than others, but one band that definitely has been an influence and has been, you know, mentioned by people in the band as well, is Coven, without a doubt. The moment that's one of you noticed that Jinx Dawson was following you guys on your socials, was that a bit of a moment?
Yeah, that was a shit, like what's going on, like I don't know, it's very cosmic and feels like, I don't know, things are happening that we're not completely aware of. But that's funny you said that. I was looking on YouTube the other day, and all of us went up to I think Newport, Kentucky to see Coven at Southgate House Revival, and amazing, like definitely best show I've ever seen in my life.
Oh wow.
And yeah, amazing, like just completely amazing. Like it's funny, at the end of the show I turned around and I was like, dude, I have not looked behind my back once throughout this entire set. Like I've never seen a band where I wasn't like, you know, at least like something distracted me. Like I never broke gaze of the stage. And like, dude, yeah, Coven is one of those bands that influences all of us, like, and they're not new, but like they're recently come back together and like created this whole new version of themselves that is very much, you know, it's what they did before, but like it's a whole new beast, because there's a whole new generation of people that are like really getting into it and like realizing how amazing this band is. And that's been a huge influence on us. And the other day I was watching that video that we went, like, you know, the videos from the show we went and saw up in Kentucky. And the next video that popped up after ours, like suggested or whatever, was our first show, like our first MoonLust show, like since I've joined the band.
You know, for all of us, you know, watching and listening, what can we expect? What shows are you planning for the rest of the year?
So we've got a show next Saturday. It's a week from this weekend, at the Masquerade, which is awesome because that's like one of the first places I went as a kid. Like, and I'm kind of from out in the sticks a little bit, so coming to Atlanta was kind of like a journey when I was a teenager. And that was one of the first places I went and saw bands when I was a kid, was at the Masquerade. And it's moved since then. Still cool, not the same vibe, or not the same place that was amazing, but you know, it's still awesome. It's still a legendary venue. And we're playing there Saturday night, which couldn't be more stoked about. And then and we're headlining, so like one of our first headlining slots, and that's pretty surreal as well. And then we have another show coming up at kind of a newer venue called Boggs over in the west end of Atlanta, and that's with a band called Morgul Blade. And that, I'm stoked about that too. They're on tour in the Southeast, and so we're gonna be supporting them. That's awesome. And then even further, hopefully next week, but we have a music video coming out for 6 years. I'm not sure exactly what the date is, but it'll be here soon. And then shortly after that, you'll have our second single.
Awesome. All right. Well, excuse me. We'll keep our eyes open and fingers crossed for even more announcements and more shows, and hopefully, you know, we see you guys jump on a tour that brings you up here in Canada as well. That would be fantastic.
Oh, that'd be amazing, man.
Nick, I want to thank you so much. It's clear that the passion is there, so looking forward to discovering so much more music from you guys. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, man, have fun on those shows.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, brother.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.